cooking it. 3 months after the Gorn issue has been put to bed, quite literally, the crew of the USS Enterprise is ready to celebrate Federation Day. But when Nurse Chapel returns to the ship with a new boyfriend, Spock doesn't feel at all like celebrating. And when a mischievous and somewhat familiar being decides to play on Spock's emotions, reality itself is in for a twist that no one sees coming. Who is Christine's new love interest? Who is this mischievous being? And what 40-year-old fan theory becomes official Star Trek canon? Greetings and felicitations, my friends. It's time for Thursday Night Geeks live right now.
Good Thursday night to you, everybody out there in YouTube and Facebook and Instagram land. It's Thursday Night Geeks. We are the Trek Geeks. I'm Bill Smith alongside the perennial favorite at the Kentucky Derby, Dan Davidson, for yet another installment of our weekly live stream. Dan, good to see you, buddy.
I love dog races.
That's a horse race.
Oh, sorry. Anyway. Yeah, good to see you, buddy. Happy Thursday to you. Happy Thursday to everybody joining us. Going to be a fun night. Going to be a fun show. I've been looking forward to this all week, to be honest with you. As you remember last week, we were kind of, episode 1 of Strange New Worlds. Okay, it's great. It's not great. It's good. And now it's episode 2, and I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit of a different conversation than it was last week, buddy.
I don't.
Well, one of us, and that's going to mean different for everybody.
I don't want to telegraph it too early, but there were things about this episode I really enjoy. There are things about this episode I loathe with every fiber of my being, and we're going to talk about it all tonight. Dan, good to see you, buddy. As we are here now, I am 11 days from Vegas, which means you are 12 days from Vegas in the annual convention out in the desert, STLV, or I guess the formerly known as STLV. And we're looking forward to it. I mean, it's going to be a great, great time.
Who we kidding? Unofficially, it's always going to be STLV for the remainder of time. But yeah, 11, 12 days away. It's coming up fast. Looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be tiring because we will not sleep because we don't sleep.
We don't sleep.
And we've got new Strange New Worlds even while we're out in Vegas. So even though tonight we're only talking about episode 2, Wedding Bell Blues, we're going to be talking about Strange New Worlds pretty much the rest of the next 2 months. I'm thinking pretty much, Yeah.
Pretty much all the way through. First, we should say we can't do any of this without the man, the myth, the legend, Garcia in the control room. Garcia is back tonight, and that's why the trains are running on time. That's why this program looks as good as it does, quite frankly. It's good to have Garcia back. Garcia doesn't like to be seen on screen. So if you can imagine Garcia from Criminal Minds, that's the visualization we're going to go with.
Okay.
He's talking to me in my ear saying a stream of profanity. And I guess I'm not surprised. He was in the Navy. So nice. Dan Davidson says greetings and felicitations.
I like that guy.
Debbie Moltisanti is here. Debbie, wonderful to have you aboard.
Good to see you.
Great to see you. Of course, Ross is here. My fellow North Carolina resident.
Carolinian?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a transplant though. So, okay. I mean, to some, it's not as valid as being a native North Carolinian.
Gotcha.
Of course, Helen is here. It's not a Thursday without Helen. And of course, same with Burley. Great to have everybody aboard. If you're watching live on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, because we go live to all three places now, welcome. If you're watching this after the fact, thank you so much for watching. We're excited you're here, even if it's not live. But one of these days, you should check us out live. That's all we're saying. And of course, don't forget, you can like, you can subscribe, and wherever you are, whether it's the Facebook, whether it's the U of Tubes, all of those places, all of it is a huge help to all of us. So, Dan, we've wasted enough time. What the hell are you drinking?
All right. Well, I got a surprise for you, my friend, because I got to tell you, I was very surprised, honored, and happy just yesterday when I got a package delivered to my front door from a very, well, not the delivery guy, because I didn't see the delivery guy, I just got the ring. But this was sent to me by a very handsome, wonderful podcast co-host of mine by the name of Bill Smith. I said it.
You do a show with John Champion?
Well, you got to get one of those neck things that he wears, then you'll be looking fine. But you sent me something that you've talked about on this very show, and it is the espresso martini. I don't know if it's not Beatbox.
It's Barker.
Barker, yeah, Barkbox. Oh, whatever.
Nope, Barker. Barkbox is for dogs.
Barkbox is for dogs. And we have dogs. So yes, I don't know the name. I just know it's an espresso martini. I just know you were right. This thing is damn fine.
This is an espresso. They are not a sponsor. We discovered them through my wife, Nigel Barker, who was a famous celebrity fashion photographer, was one of the judges on America's Next Top Model for years, which my wife used to watch. Has his own specialty martini, and you can get it in a bottle, but you can also get it in a box with a pour spout. And I mocked this incessantly for a long time. I'm like, yeah, martini in a box. Turns out it's the best damn espresso martini I've ever had.
It's damn what. Yeah, I mean, I want to mind, but
and I may have been too deep when I sent you a box of martinis.
It is. It's good. It's very good. I thank you
good.
very much. I appreciate it.
For ready to drink, it's amazing.
I shall enjoy it. There. It's literally, it's in a box. You got the little thing comes out the bottom. You press the button. It comes out into your glass. You don't have to mix anything. You don't have to measure. You don't have to shake. Awesome.
It's better than any juice box or a Capri Sun. That's for damn sure.
I will say yes to that because it is good. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. It's going to go fast. I'll tell you that. So what are you drinking? Are you drinking anything tonight?
I'm drinking water.
There you go.
And that's largely because I have blood work in the morning.
That's all right.
As I continue on my Zep bound journey.
Yes.
Down just over 30 pounds now from when I started in April. Awesome. But I got to go. I have fasting blood work at 8 a.m. So
yay. Yeah, I know what that's all about.
At least it's like 20 minutes down the road. It's not like I got to drive forever. So.
Same. It's like 10 or 15 minutes for me. I got a surprise for you. I got another surprise. It's a big Star Trek surprise. I'm very excited about this. I think our viewers will be excited also. Now I'm going to preface this with this company is not a sponsor of ours. I'm just throwing out some love because they did such a great job. A couple of weeks ago, Exo6 announced that they were pre-ordering for the Gorn.
Oh, yeah.
And if you did a pre-order, you would be put into a drawing to be one of the people that could get it immediately or wait until it comes out in January 2026 or whatever.
Yeah.
So I did my pre-order. And to make a long story short, a little friend joined me today at the house. Look at that majestic piece of awesome sauce. It's got the black dagger, rock dagger, knife dagger. It's incredible. I'm so excited.
Dagger, knife dagger.
It's so he's not wearing shoes. You can see his little feet. And that's
he got little Gorn feet.
It comes with and of course you can see the giant branch that he swings at Kirk. But even though it's not Gorn related, the Kirk cannon is also included in the Gorn figure when you buy it from Exo6. So I wanted to show everybody because they have outdone themselves with this one. This is my fourth one now that I've got
beautiful.
from X06. It is absolutely gorgeous. Very excited.
I have the little $12 bendy Gorn back here. And the detail is quite wonderful, but it's not an X06. I paid $12 for this.
I did not pay $12.
No, you didn't.
No.
So
and it's even as was that?
Here's what I want to know. So obviously the Gorn comes with the Kirk cannon. Is when they do Ruck from What Are Little Girls Made Of? Is it going to come with the Kirk stalagmite?
The philagmite?
Yeah, the philagmite. Yes. Yes.
I hope it does. Now this is great because they actually said, I read a review today, and forgive me, I don't remember who it was from, but they did the review and they talked about the cannon piece, and they're like, it's going to be perfect for when they eventually, because they will come out with a TOS Kirk. And now you've got an extra accessory to have like a Gorn battle on your bookshelf, which is going to be right up there at some point.
It's too bad you can't have Spock going, yes. Yes. He knows, Doctor. I mean,
he has reasoned it out.
All right. Enough of us lollygagging around the bases. We're going to come right back and we're going to talk about Wedding Bell Blues, Dan, something as a concept that's foreign to both of us.
Yes.
But after the jump, we'll come right back and we'll talk all about it. Get ready. First off, Dan, before we kick off here, before we officially move into spoiler territory, we just want to say hi to Tracy Coco. Hi, Lieutenant Jay.
Lieutenant Jay, I am so excited to see you here. Thanks for joining us. This is awesome to see you.
All right, Garcia's chomping at the bit. Garcia, let's sound spoiler alert. That's right. From here on in, this episode of Thursday Night Geeks and Trek Geeks contains spoilers. So if you have not watched episode 2 of this season of Strange New Worlds, Wedding Bell Blues, departez-vous, or listen at your own risk. Either are acceptable, Dan. But there's a lot to talk about here. I love being able to call spoiler alert. That's a very powerful thing.
It is. You kind of, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Right. I told you. You didn't listen to me? Your problem.
I feel powerful.
Well, that's one of the only times. So don't get used to it.
It really is. You and I like to at least acknowledge the creatives behind the episode. Yes. So I'm going to call up the slide and you get to tell us all about it.
Oh, yay. I like that.
This is on the spot.
I like that. Of course, it is season 3, episode 2 of Wedding Bell Blues, written by Kirsten Beyer and David Reed. And I didn't realize Kirsten had written this until well after I watched the episode last week. Directed by Jordan Canning, of course, premiered last week when episode 1 came out, so July 17th, 2025. And it certainly is a change from the atmosphere of episode 1, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, the original series was famous for having a couple of serious episodes and then doing a downshift into something lighthearted. Mm-hmm. We definitely get that here this week.
Right.
We imagine that it's probably taken a while to repair the Enterprise. They've had a whole bunch to do, although I think they could have done 2 or 3 episodes while at Starbase One, but that's just me. Mm-hmm. But this episode kind of starts off in a really uncomfortable way. Spock gets the surprise of a lifetime. He thinks, yeah, Christine's back. Let's do this. And she comes back with a guest, which is not, I'm going to say this is not cool.
No, it was, for everybody who's like, oh, Spock's not supposed to have these emotions. I think everybody would be pretty pissed off and jealous if that happened the way it did to him, to you. First of all, I got to say that when I saw the premise for this episode, aside from the special guest, but just the fact that we were another episode where we're going to deal with the whole Spock Chapel thing, it was starting to wear thin on me. With that being said, I enjoyed this episode tremendously. But yeah, a little awkward. First of all, Spock gets to dance with La'an. So he wins right from the beginning of the episode
He
because
does.
in real life, she is a professional dancer. She's a wonderful human being. She's beautiful and she is a great character. So yay, Spock. But yeah. Oh, I'm going to we're going to beam aboard for Federation Day. By the way, this is my friend. Spock not looking, right? Let me look at number one. Or Lon, whoever it was. And no, he doesn't need his own quarters. That started it off really good. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun.
It's a terrible way to get the memo. I get it. It's the whole friends, Ross and Rachel, we were on a break thing. Okay. But she could have at least on Subspace given him a heads up like, hey, dude.
Yeah.
I didn't anticipate for this to happen. I'm coming back. But
yeah,
it's just a real jerk move. It really is.
It's a jerk move, but I get it. You want there to be some form at the very beginning of the episode of the punch to the stomach that Spock is dealing with, which is kind of the whole premise for everything that happens going forward because of some mysterious gaseous anomaly outside the window, which we'll talk about later. But it works. But yeah, dick move, Christine. Sorry. And Roger. By the way, we didn't even tell everybody the guest beaming up with Christine Chapel is none other than Dr. Roger Korby, who we all know from TOS lore. And this is the beginning of their romance, which has to, man, this whole romance engagement, him going away, getting lost and getting found on XO3 has got to happen in a relatively short amount of time, I'm thinking.
Dr. Roger Korby, who all of a sudden is Irish, and doesn't sound like he's from New York, like he does kind of in the original series. But yeah, I want to pull up a couple of comments because it really just blend into where I was going next.
Sure.
And I'm going to start with Debs. I'm kind of over the Spock Chapel thing. With that being said, I'm here for it. Ethan Peck Spock is fantastic. Agreed on all counts.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Helen says, I really want Spock Chapel to be over. Dan, you and I talked about this, I think, offline. I really want this to be over, and it actually needs to be over like last season. This is going on too long.
I was going to say, there are some parts of shows over time that drag on a little bit. And then there are things that just grind to a halt, but keep showing up. And I understand the wanting to have some kind of a backstory to what we see in TOS with how Christine feels about Spock. But this is getting to be overkill. It has gone on every episode now for the last 5 episodes. It's been a major part. If not the A story, the B story in every episode. I love both actors. I'm just
absolutely.
I'm tired of the. It's done. It's over. It's Korby now. Go run on your little robot planet and have fun, and let Spock go do his thing.
My concern is that they're going to keep, the tension going, even though Roger's going off on wherever he's going, and Christine is presumably staying aboard the Enterprise. She's going to pine for Roger, but is she going to supplant that or try to supplant that with Spock, or is Spock going to try to move in? I really feel like there needs to be a clear, definitive break. Mm-hmm. It would have been better to have Christine leave the ship for a year.
Yes. Yep. I agree.
But it is what it is. So yeah, so Roger's here, and that's going to be cool, right?
Yes, I think it would have been. Well, actually, you know what? Let me. I don't want to say what I want to say because it's going to go into like everything else that happens in the episode. So I'll put a pin in that for now.
I say it doesn't matter because we decide what happens when.
All right. Okay. Well,
go ahead.
Well, what I'm thinking is the relationship got off to obviously a rocky start between the two of them. Very awkward in the transporter room. And then, of course, Spock knocking him out doesn't really help the situation.
No.
But then throughout the rest of the episode, they actually look like they start getting along because they have to work together. And it seems to be okay. Would that have happened if the whole Trelane thing didn't take place? What would the relationship have been like? What would have happened? Would any of the things that we saw happen, like punching him in the face and knocking him out or anything like that? So it's kind of a who knows type of thing.
We may as well uncork this genie now because I think it's going to take up a goodly amount of the conversation tonight. And that is the return of Trelane.
Yes.
Or the introduction of Trelane. It's sort of wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. And I'm
Yes.
sure the Doctor Who fans will appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to preface this by saying I kind of like the episode. It's fun. There are elements of it that I am entertained by. I'm annoyed that it's Trelane. Because it doesn't need to be Trelane. It's yet another callback to something else that happens down the road that we don't need to see yet. It could have been any godlike creature. It didn't have to be Trelane. And that's kind of how I feel about it.
Okay. No, that's cool. I appreciate that. If you remember last week, I said, during the trailers, everybody's saying, "Oh, that looks like the train." I'm like, "No, it doesn't look like Trelane to me," and I don't want it to be Trelane. And then it was Trelane, and I loved it. As the episode went on, I was more and more enjoying what was happening. I know the whole, takes place before Squire of Gothos, blah blah blah. But from Trelane's point of view, time is fluid, so it could be the first time. Not going to get into that we could be here all week talking temporal mechanics, but I loved what they did. And I think the reason why, this may not be the reason why, but I like how they did it because we got to see that definitive question that fans have been asking for over 30 years about. So I'm going to throw it out there now. Was Trelane a member of the Q continuum? And I think one of the reasons they did bring it in now is so that they could have John Delancey come back and voice the parent being of what we assume to be Trelane, to show that, yes, Trelane is a member of the Q continuum, what everybody has been talking about since 1994, when Peter David released Q Squared, which is where the whole theory of him being a member of the Q came from. Awesome book, by the way, by the late, great Peter David, who just passed away a couple of months ago. So I hope he knows that this happened, because his book, I think, was the crux for this fan theory, and it finally happening. And I'm totally okay with it. I know that there are some people out there who aren't going to like it and who have their reasons for it, like my co-host, which I know, and I can't, and I'm looking forward to you telling me why again, because I have a point on that. But I thought it was great. I loved it. And it made an episode that could have been really irritating and frustrating with the whole Chapel Spock relationship, one that was much more enjoyable and fun for me.
No knock to Rhys Darby. Rhys Darby was wonderful with what they gave him to do. He fit the part that they asked him to play of the Trelane character, and I thought did so remarkably well.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of tough to channel that energy, that William Campbell had in the original series.
Yeah,
really, really tough. And I think that he not only did that, but I thought he elevated it even just a bit further. I love John Delancey. He's a wonderful, wonderful man. He's so kind. Whenever we ask him to do Trek Talks, he does Trek Talks without even thinking about it. Even when he's on his boat in the middle of the ocean, the man is just kind. But I hate this idea of taking Trelane and making him a Q in canon. And I feel like if that were what it was supposed to be, Roddenberry would have done it at the beginning of Next Generation, even in Farpoint, to say, your people have encountered my kind before, blah, and made a passing reference to Trelane. But he didn't. And we know Gene loved his godlike beings. Mm-hmm. How many times do you have these all-powerful beings that we know nothing about in the original series? You got the Metrons, you got Trelane, you got so many of them. We're dying of godlike beings in Star Trek. You and I even did a 2-part podcast with Haley and Ken and talked about godlike beings in Star Trek.
Yep.
And how it's a trope. I hate the decision because it just is. I think it's lazy. I really do. I don't think fans have been clamoring for this. I Q Squared is a great book. I actually have read it back in the day. It was one of the books I lost in my great storage unit flood of about 8 or 9 years ago, or whatever it was. But I think that this was just a method to get Delancey into Strange New Worlds. I think it was that. Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that at all, dude. And I think this is the first time where we have been completely polar opposite on a specific thing that we're talking about on any given time that we've been doing the podcast or the show. And I think that's great. I absolutely loved what they did with it, and you absolutely hated it. I think that's awesome. And look at it. We got a fine gentleman joining us on Facebook. Hey, Tim.
Hey, Tim.
Yeah.
Hey, Mickey.
Yep. It's interesting. And it's funny because, yeah, if Gene had wanted to do it that way, why didn't he? But then again, we've had so many other people that have run Star Trek since then, different mind, different ideas. And I don't think that I agree with you. I don't think fans have been clamoring for 35 years to answer the question, but it's always been a good conversation topic that I've engaged in countless times with people. And
me too.
Is something that I absolutely thought would work and fits. And it kind of does. I'm also glad that we found out that Trelane is actually 8,072 years old.
He's just a little older than you are.
He looks a lot younger, though.
He looks better, quite frankly.
Absolutely.
I really think that they could have done something original with this. For a show called Strange New Worlds, which I love. I love Strange New Worlds. I feel like I need to keep saying this. I feel like we keep going back to things we've already done or already seen.
Yeah. Now,
next week is the first new world we've had in a little bit, and I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, okay. I actually haven't watched it yet, so I'm looking forward to checking that one out. But we're not going to talk about episode 3.
No spoilers on episode 3.
Nope, not at all. Yeah, so it's interesting that we have such different opinions about that. But I will say, as we talked about the trailer, everybody was saying what they were saying, and I'm like, I just don't want it to be something like that. I really enjoyed what this character brought to the episode. I liked the humor. I liked the callbacks to the original Trelane with the way that he said things or the way that he looked or moved. And I think it really worked. I also loved that that nobody on the ship actually saw what he looked like at any time. We always saw the mirror or something else, what the crew saw, which is why I think there's been conversation out there. Well, why didn't Spock recognize Trelane and Squire of Gothos? Spock never saw what he really looked like. He always saw him as somebody else. We never saw what the wedding planner or the minister looked like from their perspective, but I can only guess that it was something other than what Trelane actually looked like.
Well, and even then, the appearance is obviously different, in Squire of Gothos. I mean, that's enough of a reason right there.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, he was completely different to whomever he appeared, which I thought was a nice touch.
Yeah.
With the finger snaps, that's kind of your first clue that it's Q related.
Yes.
Hearing Delancey's voice, though, is like kind of a warm blanket, in watching Star Trek. I'm not going to lie about that.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And it made it was not the jump out of my chair, Pike in the wheelchair call that we finally saw in Discovery a couple of years ago, or the Guardian of Forever showing up in Discovery that we saw a couple of years ago.
Yep.
But it was kind of awesome to hear that voice and just be like, yes, I knew it. So
yeah. Yeah. Mickey and Deb both make great points. We do get a glimpse of the wedding planner. At one point, his reflections in a pad, and he was an Andorian.
Yeah,
so.
I remember the Andorian. Yep.
Yeah.
And I remember the Vulcan. Yeah.
Live correction of Dan Davidson only on Thursday Night Geeks.
That's right. My apologies. I was thinking that he was different. It was not the wedding planner, it's the Andorian, but I do remember the Andorian, and I love the fact that they brought back an Andorian. And I think there was a Tellarite in the wedding party. I think Trek Movie pointed out in a screen grab somewhere off in the background. So yeah, they're bringing them all back.
It's a shame Spock's parents couldn't attend, but that's just me. Because they could have worked in James Frayne and still kept the canon of he and Spock haven't talked in years.
True.
That
I love it.
I don't write things. I'm sorry. Let's take a quick break. We're going to talk a little bit about our friends who are the best in the business, Dan. And we're going to come back, talk a little bit more about Ye Olde Strange New Worlds. And and stuff. So
Stuff.
we'll be right back in just a second. And of course, Dan, it wouldn't be Thursday Night Geeks if we didn't take this opportunity to thank our dear friends at Fansets for 10 years of love and friendship and family and being the best damn presenting sponsors on the planet, Dan.
And shenanigans, because
Shenanigans.
we have shenanigans with them when we're in Vegas, like we will be in just 12 days. They're fantastic. We love them. We've loved them for a decade. We're going to continue loving them. They have over 500 officially licensed Star Trek pins out there, Bill. They release new stuff every month. Last week, we talked about their newest releases, and we're going to talk about them again right now. You can get the Kobayashi Maru examination pin from their Starfleet Academy line, which looks pretty damn awesome. Bill, did you beat the Kobayashi Maru?
I did, actually.
All right.
I beat it.
You did. That's right. Good for you. Congratulations. Always showing off. Another wicked, freaking shiny dedication plaque, dude. Just like I said last week. It's the Kelvin Universe USS Kelvin, the Kelvin itself right there. I hope they do this with all of the Kelvin pins. Very shiny,
blind us?
Very nice. Blind you, especially shining off my chrome dome. And
gosh.
buddy, also, micro crew pins are always cool. Strange New World Season 3 is upon us right now. And right now, Lieutenant Commander Una Chin Riley is available over there at oldfansets.com.
Well, oldfansets.com. I mean, at some point, there's got to be a new fansets.com, right?
That's when Joe takes over.
Kid, he's not taking over or anything. Lou's not going to let him. But, seriously, we're going to see them in Vegas in about 11 days. We're going to see a bunch of you in Vegas in about 11 days. But in the meantime, go on out to fansets.com because, it's not possible for them to bring every single pin to Vegas. It's just they've got so many, over 500 pins, Dan. They can't get them all to Vegas. Go out to fansets.com. Put all 3 of those pins and a bunch of others in your cart. And then to check out, enter the special discount code word Trek Geeks to get 10% off your entire order. That's Trek Geeks, all capital letters, no spaces, for 10% off. And Dan, of course, if you spend more than $30 on fansets.com, what do you automatically get?
Transportation costs at no charge to the customer. Free shipping.
Free shipping.
There you go.
You really had me there. I thought you were going to talk about them giving you an Uber ride somewhere. This was just going awry, and I was not expecting it.
Well, Crazy Ivan every once in a while.
Crazy Ivan.
Fansets. Our pins have character, and we thank our friends at Fansets for being the presenting sponsor of Thursday Night Geeks and Trek Geeks.
Before we continue on, we want to talk a little bit about the Trek Geeks shop, Dan.
Oh, I love that.
We've slowly been building out the inventory here. These are brand new shirts only available on our store on Dashery. You've got some recent additions within the last 24 hours. You've got a Spock, you got a Kirk with the phaser rifle.
Nice.
You've got a 1701D shirt that I've appropriately named I Love the D. Comment that however you will. I got Live Long and Prosper. This one I really like. It's I Love Star Trek and Binary.
Beautiful. I'm going to get that one.
Yeah. And logical. And of course, I beat the Kobayashi Maru, which I might have to get and wear to Vegas, Dan.
Oh, okay. Because you got to brag in front of all the people. Okay.
Yeah. Right now, we've got close to 40 shirts here on the site. Everything from a Resistance is Futile to a Live Long and Prosper to our Fuck Cancer shirts, which the proceeds of which go automatically to the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network. So for everyone who buys those shirts, any profits we make off those ones will go immediately to PanCan so that we can help fund that essential work, Dan.
Beautiful.
And of course, because I'm also an Office fan, I figured that we had to do Bears Beats Star Trek.
I just like the fact that your meh is a t-shirt.
Well, and your coconut looking like the Obey poster is pretty good too. But whether you like some long lists of crews and ships, or an 8-bit Locutus, or even Riker calling Red Alert, we've got a little something for everybody. We're adding new shirts each month, Dan. So
I love it.
Yeah. It's pretty great. I'm not going to lie. So you do great work on this.
I've got 4 of those shirts that I ordered and paid 100% full price for. No, we don't get any discounts.
Same here. This is one of them right here.
Vegas. There you go. And that's one that I got that I'll be wearing in Vegas. There you go. Thursday Night Geek. That looks like a familiar show.
It does. So anyway, get on out to trekgeekshop.com, and we are going to come right back to continue talking about Wedding Bell Blues. Stay right there. And we're back.
Hi.
So there, Dan was just dancing unbelievably.
I was.
You couldn't see. He was doing like a robot type thing.
There you go.
So back to Wedding Bell Blues.
Yeah.
I think that one of the things I really enjoy about the episode, quite honestly, is the fact that there are elements of this that kind of feel like a Broadway play to me. You know, if you take a show like A Noise Is Off or something like that, where there was a lot of chaos. And it's all executed so perfectly in the scope of this episode. Jordan Canning, who also directed 2 years ago, Charades, where Spock was human for an episode.
Yes.
Does just a wonderful job kind of reining in all of the chaos and making this episode fun to watch from start to finish. I will say that.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's interesting that I'd forgotten that he had done that episode. It's cool to see that he did 2 episodes that are Spock centric and one where, he's completely human and then he's still dealing with his human issues in this one.
Minor correction, Jordan Canning is a she.
All right. Apologies as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So, see, that's why we have computers.
That's exactly. I had to look it up because I'm like, does Dan know something I don't? Because I thought Jordan was a woman.
Yeah. Sorry.
So anyway, in this episode, we get a little brother on board. Ortega's her little brother. Beto comes aboard, and it's kind of hilarious because there's an automatic spark between Beto and Nyota.
Yeah.
And Ortega's is like, no. I think like any older sibling would be, but really I think there's great chemistry there between those two. And I really kind of like this pairing. I think it's great.
Which means probably he's going to die. At some point, maybe some shuttle accident or something like that. Yes, I agree. Great introduction of the new character. And of course the spark with the two of them. And I got to say, I love Uhura's new hairstyle. Celia looks fantastic in this episode. It was good to see. I do have a question though for you, buddy. At the very beginning, when we meet him, they are talking to each other in Spanish. Uhura is the communications officer who knows like 700 languages. And does this Enterprise have universal translators already throughout the ship everywhere already anyway? So I don't know.
I don't know.
Just saying.
Theoretically.
Our good friend James Kerwin brought that up the other night, and I'm like, you know what? He's right. They shouldn't be able to talk in different languages and nobody understand.
Because, on Discovery, they had their own universal translators.
Yeah.
And Discovery.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's one to...
See, I actually asked a good question.
I need to think about this. People in the chat can tell us what they think, and we'll certainly call those comments up. First, I want to agree with Debbie here. Woman power, talking about Jordan Canning, absolutely, and all the other amazing women on Strange New Worlds. Mickey says Beto might as well be wearing red, and it's a sighting of the hard to find Brian Thomas Donahue. He's oftentimes camouflaged. You wouldn't know it. He's been wandering all over the United States this summer, and he's finally, sent up a signal flare. Brian, good to see you. We're glad you're here. And this was a fun episode. I have to agree.
Yeah.
I think I have a potential unpopular opinion here, and that is I'm done with the AR wall. everything looks so gigantic and grand, and it's larger than life. And Star Trek doesn't need to be that. Everything has this gigantic space, whether it's engineering or, the planet or Starbase One or you name it. It's this gigantic thing that, our characters are dwarfed by. And I'm a little over it. I'm okay with there being some intimate sets. Um, the quarters are gigantic, but that's another story for another time. But I it fits this scene, but I mean, just once. I mean, they could have done this in a shuttle bay. I'm a little over the AR while it's kind of taking me out of the episode sometimes.
I don't disagree. I don't mind it. But I do agree with the fact that when they're using it, the characters are always secondary because
Yeah.
it's like they want your attention to be on this amazing technology that can have these visuals. I'm all for special effects. Put the money towards the big space scenes, like we saw even though I thought it was ridiculous, the whole butting shields with the Gorn and the Enterprise from the last episode, and how it kind of looked like the Enterprise was hitting Jello, the way that it kind of like went up into the ship. Anyway, but yes, I agree. I think because they loved what it did for Discovery, they want to use that as much as possible, and I think that sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, there are times, when a planet's set, I think it can really add to the air of realism, unlike the styrofoam rocks,
Yes.
and the lit scrim in the background with the colored gels. It makes a big difference. But, we start looking at engineering being this gargantuan place, that it ought not fit on the ship the way it is. It starts to take me out of it. And that's one thing I really wish weren't the case. However, I will say that between set decoration and costuming and hair, this is visually one of the most beautiful episodes of Strange New Worlds.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
We saw looks that we have never seen. It's a visual feast. It really is. And great to see people dress down and dress up out of their Starfleet uniforms.
Yeah, agreed. But I will tell you, I actually was thinking about that, especially when they showed Spock close up in his dress, in his wedding tuxedo, but his dress uniform. That looked fantastic. I loved all of the different outfits we saw. I gotta say, Christine's wedding dress was distracting to me because it looked like she had a bunch of snakes coming out of her chest, the way that they all curled up like that, and then it looked like she had one of those big bathroom scrubby froofy things on the shoulder. So it was a little distracting, but still, wardrobe, makeup, all that stuff was really good. And the detail in Trelane's jacket, a nice callback to the original series, but it was really, really nice.
I thought it looked a lot cooler than Trelane's jacket in the original series, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was excellent. I can't say enough about that. The minor annoyances I have with this episode really don't, it isn't enough to make me not like it.
Yeah.
There were things I really wish they would have done differently. It was weird to see Spock and Korby working together.
Yeah.
Especially since I don't know if they're going to remember it after this.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I was talking about before.
Yeah.
Is it something that, will they remember? I think they will remember everything. Will he remember being turned into a cute dog?
The dog was one of the most adorable parts of the wedding,
That was. Yeah, it was.
Well, and that's what I wonder. I mean, so when they arrive, at the planet and what our little girl's made of, nothing comes up that says Spock remembers him.
Yeah.
Nothing comes up that says Uhura remembers him.
That's right.
Hell, Uhura doesn't even remember when Spock is married to T'Pring.
You're right.
Half the crew acts like they've never met her. So it makes me wonder, are they supposed to remember those parts?
Okay. That's a good point.
I don't know.
I hadn't thought about that. I didn't make the connection between what a little girl's made of, that the fact that Spock and Korby didn't seem to know anything about him. So yeah.
Well,
very good point.
It's like you say, a lot has to happen now between, for Korby, between this episode and What Are Little Girls Made Of? He's only got like a few years, right?
Yeah.
So, so he's got to go off on his expedition. He's got to die.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, he's got to transplant his consciousness into
an android.
An android.
Yep. Yeah. Or back then a robot. Yep.
Yeah. Well, I think it actually
was android. Yeah.
It was an android.
More complex than Brown. Yeah.
Oh God. At
Much
least
superior.
At least it wasn't Cyrano Jones. Don't you dare.
I won't, I promise.
You son of a bitch. Don't you dare. What else about this episode really just kind of works for you, aside from Delancey, aside from Trelane, God forbid? You know, obviously there's standout performances. Visually, it looks great. You know, what are you passionate about when it comes to this episode?
I love the subtle comedy. Especially the one that I liked the most was the awkwardness of Captain Pike when everybody got their memory back, and the Q's left, and he's up there trying to like give this speech, and he's like, "Bars open." I just love that. I thought it was great. I thought Anson Mount really did a great job in bringing that awkwardness, and I also liked the fact that we got a little hint of the PTSD that's going to be going on with Ortegas. I mean, that was a little rough to see her staring out the window, and then she thinks she's seeing a Gorn behind her. So
yeah,
I think that there's going to be something happening with that over the course of a couple episodes at least.
I'm going to pick up on that right after Helen's comment. So I don't think Spock interacts with Korby and What Are the Little Girls Made Of? Spock is on the ship the entire time, isn't he? He is, but at the beginning of the episode, he knows that's where they're going, right? And he knows that's who Christine is talking to. You think there would be some kind of acknowledgement like, oh, I have not seen Dr. Korby since that incident on Starbase One.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing. That's all I was making reference to.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sort of, that has to come to a head this season.
Yeah.
Because if they save that for season 4, I think it's wasted.
Mm-hmm.
Ortegas has been through a lot. I think that she probably was the most critically injured of the landing party.
Right.
You know, it's because of her that they make it back to the ship. But she's carrying all that with her, in addition to serving during the Klingon War and all of those things. I have to wonder if she's reached her breaking point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, has she gone through this before? That's the other thing I want to know. Has she pretended everything was okay when really it was not? These are questions I'd love to have answered.
Yeah. And I think we will get them answered. I think that they're giving us these little blips, and then there's going to be a whole full-blown episode about it probably down the road. And how she's going. I mean, we talked about it, unfortunately, what's going to happen with her, because she's not part of the Enterprise crew from TOS. What's going to happen? Is this planting the seeds of what we could see in what ultimately happens with her character before the end of the series?
I hope not.
I know.
I really like
too.
Erica Ortegas. I think that character has such great potential, and I don't understand why she wears a red shirt on the bridge at the helm. That's just me.
Yeah.
Aside from the fact that she probably looks great in red, and probably looks better in that than in gold. I don't know. The other thing I want to talk about is Batel and Pike. I wasn't sure I was going to like this relationship when it started. You know, I figured the pilot was probably just, you know, them getting together, right? But as time has gone on, they've grown closer and closer and closer. And I got to say, I really kind of like where they're at now.
I'm trying to. No, not at all. I was going to say, I have not liked the relationship yet. I do now. I'll say I do now with this episode. The way that they were on the couch with their, you know, her legs around on him and talking about things, what they're going to do. I thought that was great. It shows they're in a fantastic place. The problem I've got with the relationship, as we've talked about this before, is when's it going to cause a problem? When are we going to see Picard hesitate because his girlfriend is down on a planet that's about to be decimated by a cosmic storm? When are we going to see Pike's judgment be affected because of the relationship? And that scares me, because we know how strong these characters usually are. I love the fact that he is in a relationship and in love, but we've seen him already hesitate. And I'm scared that that's going to be a pattern if things continue down this path. Who knows? Maybe she's going to retire from being a captain because of the injury to the Gorn, and going to say, "I'll just stay with you on the ship." Then everybody will be happy. But I don't know. I'm a little concerned. And what happens when the Gorn babies hatch again?
There's a lot of questions there. It seems like they're both kind of living on borrowed time. And is there comfort in that to both of them? As the first question I have. I mean, obviously she knows his situation. He knows his situation. At some point, he's not going to have this life that he has. So all the time he has with her right now could be the sum total of what they have. Especially if she, if something happens with regard to the Gorn infection, or whether she goes off on another ship. I don't like that for Pike, because I want him to have some joy. I hate saying it this way, in his remaining years.
And we in the cage, he's sitting there complaining about how he's tired and this and that. I agree. I will say, at first, I was not a fan of Patel as a character at all. She just rubbed me the wrong way. I have grown to really like her. I think she's a great character. I want good things to happen, but at the same time, I'm nervous if the relationship continues to build and how it's going to affect him as a captain.
Yeah, I think so. Although there are times when Pike is so very much black or white, and other times where he operates in shades of gray. It's hard to tell how he's going to react to any given thing. I mean, he's the quintessential white hat. He's always going to do the right thing, but he may not always do it for the most apparent reason. And I think that's one of the reasons I like this portrayal of Pike.
Speaking of Pike, this popped into my head. You said, talking about something which made me think of Pike, which made me think of the episode wardrobe that you mentioned. How did he look in that green tunic? That was, I think, the first time that we've seen that. Wasn't it a different green one that he wore previously?
I didn't think so.
Okay, it looked like a different shade, but I thought it looked awesome. I love when they do those type of callbacks on the show.
I remember he wore one in season 1. I can't remember which episode. I'm sure Garcia knows off the top of his head, and will start screaming in my ear at some point.
I was wondering if he had or not, and I'm like, oh, maybe I'm thinking of when Archer wore it in the Mirror Universe episode, but I think you're right.
Yeah, there's an episode where they're kind of all stranded on the planet.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the episode where the ship gets taken over. Yeah, darn it, I can't remember the name of the group. Anyway,
that's okay. That's all right.
Garcia is feverishly looking it up.
I'm sure he is.
He is. So, let's talk about final thoughts on this episode. If you had to rate this episode, let's call it 4 out of 5 Starfleet Type 2 phasers. How many phasers would you give this episode?
Out of 5?
Yeah, and you can go fractions.
I feel there's too many factors playing in my head right now.
That's too bad.
It's a fun episode, so I want to give it a higher one, but there are some things to it that are questionable. I'm going to say 3.5.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I think I'm going to give it a solid 3. It's by no means the worst episode of Strange New Worlds. It is fun. There is a lot going on. A few too many callbacks. We've established that I don't like the tying of Trelane to the Q in canon, which is my thing to get over, I suppose, but I will fight it tooth and nail. But yes, Dan.
I want to change my number
to
3.75.
Why?
I just feel that it was a little bit. It was better than a 3.5, but it wasn't as good as a 4. So, and you said we could use fractions.
I did. Well, you used a fraction the first time.
I know.
Math is hard.
It is.
Math is so hard.
Okay. That's why we have mathematicians to help us.
And we say that largely because Amy Nelson doesn't watch this show.
Right.
So.
She doesn't even know we exist.
She has no idea we exist.
I love Amy. She's
gonna,
probably listening right now.
She's going to watch this and come up to us in Vegas and go, what was that? Ross says 3 out of 4 ranking pips. Mickey says 2.5. I assume phasers. I think that's fair. Helen says that Pike wore the green tunic in A Quality of Mercy. I think he wore it in one other episode too. It's I'll figure it out after this show is over.
Look good no matter what. Yeah.
Helen, you have a math professor right here in the chat. Yes, we do. I'm sorry. Yes. We like to pick on Amy Nelson even in absentia because she likes to tell us that math is not hard. Mm-hmm. And that's why. Ross says math is very hard. Do it every day for work. Math is very hard. It's why I married an accountant.
Yes, and I married an underwriter.
Yeah.
So
I think this is an episode I think that will stand up even better on rewatches because you know everything that's already happening. I think you can concentrate on more of the chaos and more of the the visual eye candy, as it were, with regard to sets and costumes and stuff. I think it's just fun in the way that Charades was fun 2 years ago.
And I agree. And also, at least the last 2 episodes, if not even before that, were very serious, very, tense episodes. So I think it was great to have this one. As you said, every once in a while, they in the other series, they do a bunch and then they just throw in this one. And it really does, lessen the load, load off the shoulders, feel much more comfortable because it was tense for that Gorn hegemony things that we had
hegemony.
Yes.
Yeah. So, all in all, I'm enjoying season 3 so far. I know we're only a couple of episodes in, but next week, Dan, we're going to talk about episode 3.
Yes.
What is it? Shuttle to Kenfori, I believe it is.
Slightest idea.
I believe that's it.
I know it has shuttle in it, but I don't know what the name.
Shuttle to Kenfori. That's what it is.
Okay.
I've watched it.
Okay.
I have thoughts,
but you can't say anything.
I can't say anything. A lot of them are good thoughts. I have a lot of questions, and I'm going to bring up next week something that I think could be a recurring issue in Strange New Worlds.
Okay.
I want to tease it that way.
All right.
We made some of these observations last week. We made a couple of them tonight, but I'm going to kind of expound on this concept next week as we talk about Shuttle to Kenfori live at 8 p.m. on Thursday Night Geeks.
Love it. Sounds good.
For those of you going to Vegas, we can't wait to see you in 11 or 12 days. I arrive first. Dan arrives after me. We are going to be plumped down in the vendor halls. We are every year on the same side as Mickey there on the entry wall, and right next to fan sets, just like she is. And we can't wait to see everybody and hope everybody comes by the booth that's going to be there. After Vegas, we're going to let's just say we're going to release some of the things we debut in Vegas.
That's right.
For the general public, which will be kind of cool. So we're going to do some special stuff there. And hopefully people like it. So
I think
Willow has made it tonight. Willow,
finally,
wonderful to see you.
Yes.
Always good to see you. Mickey says, "Woohoo, Nebrino." Yes. we must keep an eye on the wall. That's what I'm saying. And of course, Ross says, "One day I will get to Vegas." Yes, you will, and you will have the time of your life. We talk to people who go for the first time every year, and the con is just it's fantastic. So we have that. So Dan, we are going to part until next week. Look at this. We're coming in at 8:59:28.
It doesn't happen very often.
Until next week, we bid you all adieu. We do hope you all live long and prosper.
Good night, everybody.